This is as above, so below.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Film Archives, where we break down movies. That way we can answer the question, was it worth watching? I upload new videos every week, so consider subscribing to the channel for more movie-related stuff. Today, we'll be breaking down As Above, So Below. Let's get into it. Our movie starts off and we're introduced to our main character, whose name is Scarlett Marlowe. We see her enter the Iranian border in search of a network of caves that have been slated for destruction, which she believes holds a critical missing piece of our history. She meets with one of her contacts by the name of Reza, and they enter into the entrance of the cave, which is inside his house, and it already gives you some very claustrophobic vibes, and it reminds me of the game The Forest. Inside the cave, Scarlett winds up discovering an artifact called the Rose Key, which looks a lot like some sort of helmet with a bunch of like inscriptions and symbols all over it. While she's inside the cave, she has a vision of a hanging man, which is just not good. Remember this, because it will come back into play later. Reza then warns Scarlett to leave as the Iranian government is beginning the destruction of the cave, and she refuses to do so because she wants to, procure the artifact, which is just so stupid, and I can already tell this woman's going to be a problem. I can already tell. The demolition begins and the cave collapses, and she manages to narrowly escape. Reza then tells her that Scarlett reminds him of her father. He says that anyone who is searching for Flamel's stone is crazy. And this is a reference to Nicholas Flamel and the infamous philosopher stone, who is a real-life figure and is very well known in medieval alchemy. Moving along, we see that Scarlett has now traveled to Paris in pursuit of Nicholas Flamel's resting place and his former home. She explains a bit about the Philosopher's Stone, which can supposedly turn base metals into gold, and even provide the key to immortality. She recruits her former lover, George, and her cameraman by the name of Benji, and Benji is making a documentary on her search for the Philosopher's Stone, so it's pretty cool. We also learn that Scarlett's father was the leading historian on alchemy, an early form of science, but many also speculated that he was mentally unstable as he took his own life. As this movie was actually shot on location, we are treated to some very nice shots of Paris, like top notch. And I always appreciate when movies shoot in the actual location they are set in. It's a nice touch. We then come to find out that the rose key she found in the Iranian caves earlier is a lot like a Rosetta Stone for alchemical symbols. So using the codes, they solve a riddle on Nicholas Flamel's headstone, which provides them coordinates pointing to the catacombs of Paris. And the scene of them decoding Nicholas Flamel's headstone had some real National Treasure vibes, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Scarlett then tries to reach the location in the catacombs on an official tour of the catacombs, and we get some really amazing shots of the real catacombs in Paris, which include real human skulls, which are arranged in like ornamental shapes, like cross shapes and things like that. And we also learned that the catacombs are filled with over 6 million bodies, which is almost 3 times the population of Paris. And let me know down below in the comments section, would you be willing to go into these catacombs? PewDiePie did it, so would you do it? Scarlett soon realizes that her destination on the coordinates is in an off-limits area, which she cannot access on the official tour. We then see a conveniently placed stranger who's just chilling in the catacombs tell Scarlett to find a man by the name of Papillon and that he can help them, and that she can find him at a nearby club. He then disappears out of view, so this was possibly a vision. We'll find out soon enough. We then see Scarlett, George, and Benji visit the club, where they recruit Papillon and his girlfriend Suxi and their friend Zed. They all agree to help Scarlett's group as long as they get half of the treasure that they find inside the hidden area of the catacombs. So again, some real National Treasure vibes, maybe Goonies. Just depends on what you're going for here, you know what I mean? Depends on when you grew up. Either you're a Goonies guy or you're a National Treasure guy.
I'm gonna steal it.
Or I don't know. We then see Papillon take the group to an off-limits entrance where George just kind of refuses to enter, but out of nowhere, a policeman confronts them, and the group is kind of forced to escape into the catacombs. And let me tell you, the Popo do not mess around here. Like, this officer just straight up tackles them from the shadows.
I'm not going.
It's actually pretty funny, I'm not gonna lie. We get a few more scenes of the catacombs, and again, they are just incredible and actually pretty terrifying. Like, I don't know, I just don't do underground caves or tunnels. Like, it's going to be a no for me, dog. It's going to be a no. We then see the group encounter a group of like female cultists inside the catacombs just singing. And I mean, I guess they're down there for the great acoustics or something, but it's pretty weird. Also, fun fact, this scene was actually a complete surprise for the actors. They were kept in another part of the caves while the crew was setting up for this shot, and they were told, you know what, you know your lines, you know what's happening in the scene, just go in that direction and it'll happen. Scarlett and the group then come across like a blocked tunnel where Scarlett attempts to remove bricks so she can get through, but Papillon explains to her that people who go through that tunnel disappear and they never come back, including his friend by the name of La Taupe, which is the mole. He went down the tunnel and he never came back. He actually lived in the catacombs for years until he went into the sealed tunnel and he never came back. So very spooky, very ominous stuff. Very spooky, very spooky. The group then decides to take an alternative route through a narrow tunnel, climbing over countless bones, with the tunnel ending up collapsing behind them, and it nearly kills the cameraman Benji. It's pretty not good. Once they get through the tunnel, they somehow find themselves in front of the same sealed block tunnel from earlier, which shouldn't be there as they went through a straight tunnel, but they are left with no choice but to break through and continue onward. Once they are through and inside the sealed tunnel, the group finds an old telephone, which is really off-putting, and when they answer it, it seems to be someone from Scarlett's past. And they also find a piano from George's past, both of which should not be there. So it's already starting to get bizarre down there, folks. They also come across La Taupe, aka the mole, who is now pretty much just a ghost trapped inside the catacombs, although they think he's still alive, but they'll soon find out that he's, like a vengeful spirit. He informs the group that the only way out is by going further down, which is just like, you got me f***ed up, dog. Like, it's gonna be a no for me, dog. I ain't going down deeper into some dark hole inside some catacombs. Hell no. Hell no. We get some scary ghost shots, and not sure if it's really relevant to the plot, but it was definitely quite scary. The group eventually finds a hidden tomb that contains like a really well-preserved Templar knight, a bunch of treasure, and they even find Nicholas Flamel's infamous philosopher stone. It's good stuff. Scarlett winds up taking the stone, and Papillon and his group have come for the treasure, so they decide to get the treasure.
Just a little plastic treasure chest.
But as they go to take the treasure, they trigger a trap that actually causes the ceiling to collapse. And this crushes La Taupe, the mole, and he gets trapped under the rubble. And Susie has her arm like crushed and gashed open and smashed. It's just Bash Bros, dude. Bash Bros. Bash Bros. It's a good scene. But yeah, we're getting somewhere now, guys. They're finding things. They found the treasure. They found the philosopher's stone. We're in it. After the rubble from the ceiling collapses, we find that Scarlett is able to supernaturally heal the wound on Suxi's arm using the philosopher's stone. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. They also find a door on the ceiling which contains a drawing and the phrase, "As above, so below."
This is as above, so below.
As above, so below. As above, so below. I got that flow and you just don't know. Now, it's pretty cool though, you know what I mean? They find that this door actually reveals a hidden opening in the floor. Of course, they decide to go through the hidden opening in the floor, and they come across a tunnel which has the phrase right above it, "Abandon all hope, all ye who enter here." And this is actually a reference to Dante's Inferno, which actually has the exact same script on the entrance to hell in the Divine Comedy. So, maybe this is not such a good idea to go through the tunnel. But you know what? Of course Scarlett decides to go through the tunnel, and she enters and crawls through the tunnel. It's so stupid, bro. So stupid. Once they are on the other side of the tunnel, the group finds an upside down reflection of the treasure room. Get it? As above, so below. So yeah, this is not good. This is not good at all. We then once again see La Taupe the mole, who was earlier trapped by the rubble, but he's here again. And at this time, he goes ape bananas, and he winds up killing Suxi in a pure ghost rage mode. He grabs her and bashes her head into the limestone, and then he just disappears. Super sad. It's super sad. They attempt to use the philosopher's stone to heal her, but it can't bring people back from the dead, so I guess it's not quite as good as the stone from Harry Potter. Go figure. As they descend deeper into the catacombs, we see an entity that resembles a woman holding a child wind up pushing Benji to his death. And that's it. That's it for our cameraman. You know what I mean? He's done. And this was probably the first jump scare of the movie. And it was an hour and 7 minutes into the movie. So great pacing. At this point, though, I would be in a full-blown panic. I've seen Nuke's top 5, and I don't want no part of no evil spirits. But guess what? George then has a vision of his little brother who died from drowning in a cave when they were kids, leading Papillon to wonder if they're already dead. I mean, I don't know, maybe. Continuing on into the catacombs, we see that Papillon is then sucked into a burning car by a ghost that is the exact same as the stranger who told Scarlett to find Papillon on the tour of the catacombs earlier. I guess that was a vision that she saw when this guy said, go find Papillon. It was all just a trap by these ghosts and these spirits who live in the catacombs, so it's not good. This is a pretty cool scene, though, I will say that. The car, like, implodes instead of exploding. It, you know, like explodes inward. It was pretty cool, and it winds up burying Papillon in the floor, and the only thing that you can see are his legs. Like, it was a pretty good scene, actually, I'm not gonna lie. And they used a real car that they brought into the catacombs for this, and it was definitely worth it. Scarlett, George, and Zed, the only ones left, decide to proceed deeper into the tunnels, where they come across some very terrifying spirits and demons and ghosts. And by this point, I'll be honest, I was kind of zoned out a little bit. I think they waited a little too long to get to the scary stuff, which is a shame because there are some really cool like visual effects and everything. We see some of the statues inside the wall actually come to life, and one of them, you know, just rips a chunk out of George's throat and neck. It's gnarly, bro. It's straight gnar. Scarlett tries to heal his wound using the Flamel stone, but it doesn't work. So she then has the realization that she's stolen a false stone, and she must return it to the original place and find the real stone in order to heal George. So she runs all the way back, and I'm not gonna lie, this was kind of dumb, but we do get some pretty like cool scenes of her just bonking the demons on the head, so that was kind of nice. So as Scarlett is racing back, we see that the tunnels are now flooded with blood, and the ground is covered in biting faces. And again, these are cool visual effects, but I just wish it wasn't, you know, an hour and 10 minutes into the movie. Like, the movie's an hour and a half. Like, you waited literally to the last 20 minutes to come out with the big guns. Like, come on, at least give me a taste earlier, you know? So as she returns the stone, she sees that there is a mirror right next to the philosopher's stone, which basically means that it is within you. I thought that was kind of dumb, I'm not gonna lie. We see her return to George and Zed, and along the way she sees the same hanged man from earlier that she saw in Iran, and we realize that this is her dad and a vision of her father who unalived himself. It's pretty sad. She apologizes to her father's ghost for ignoring his phone call, you know, shortly before he unalived himself, and her father's ghost vanishes. Scarlett then returns to George and instantly heals him by kissing him. Like, I mean, yeah. So, yeah, there's that. So, being chased by demons, George, Zed, and Scarlett are cornered, and they come across a very dark hole in the ground. Scarlett then explains to them that they have to jump in and confess their sins to stay alive, which I don't know how she came to this conclusion, but it's fine. It's fine. We see George admit that he failed to save his brother from drowning, and he said he would go get help, but he never was able to get help because he got lost. And then we see Zed confess that he has a child who he's never claimed responsibility for, but he knows it's his child.
You are the father!
I guess those are their sins. The three of them then jump into this deep, dark hole, and they miraculously survive. Yay! When they reach the bottom, they find a manhole, and they open it up, and lo and behold, it's the streets of Paris on the other side. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. The three of them climb out, and they all hug. Group hug! And Zed walks away, and they are all finally safe. So, it was pretty cool. So, I guess this was like the unique retelling of Dante's Inferno. Meh. In the outro to the movie, we get an ending log from Benji interviewing Scarlett, where she tells us she never went adventuring to seek or obtain any material treasures. She only wanted the truth. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. And then Fade to black. The movie ends. So, was As Above, So Below worth watching? Honestly, I didn't really like it. I mean, it was okay, and I know a lot of people love this movie, but I really just thought it was kind of mid. The movie's only an hour and a half, and it took me 2 days to finish because I just wasn't very entertained. I think they took way too long to get to the scary stuff, which is disappointing because when they did get to the scary stuff, it was honestly really cool. But yeah, it was just disappointing, you know? I think the film does a great job at projecting a sense of claustrophobia, which is a nice touch and a really great way to use the catacomb location that they filmed in. And I love that they filmed in the real catacombs of Paris. Like, I can't stress that enough. It was honestly really cool to watch. Yeah, all in all, I would say maybe skip this one or watch this with a grain of salt. All right, thank you so much for watching. That wraps up this video. If you enjoyed it, remember to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel for more movie breakdown stuff just like this one. If you have any movie suggestions for a video you'd like to see, be sure to comment them down below. And wishing all of you peace, love, and happiness. Until next time, abandon all hope, all ye who watch these videos here. Peace, 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 peace. As above, so below. As above, so below. I got that flow and you just don't know. Well, this is gonna be a no for me, dog.